So welcome
Yeah,
everybody to the Black Chamber's Wednesday Wisdom session, December 2nd. Wednesday Wisdom is a virtual platform that we transitioned to when
Really, I'm
pandemic.
not hearing you at all.
You can't?
I'm not hearing you.
Oh, okay. I'm
just
sorry.
your volume, just bring it up a
You have
little
to
bit.
change it from
Okay.
the iPad to the phone, earphone.
Okay. So I'll try to talk louder. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Now we
hello
see
there.
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So welcome everyone to our Wednesday Wisdom session. Wednesday Wisdom is a virtual platform that we transitioned to when live events were canceled. So we host Wednesday Wisdom every other Wednesday. This month in December,
Back in
3 events. I am Keely Gideon Taylor, a member of the board of directors. We have our board chair on who will speak a little bit later. And then um, under the title Black Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach County, we have our newly hired office manager, Tracy Thomas. So Tracy will be hosting the meeting this morning, afternoon, and helping to moderate. So today we have Miss Carla Roderick joining us to talk about the digital divide and some programs that Comcast has in the community. Comcast is a major community partner of the Black Chamber. Comcast believes in our mission to grow the success of Black businesses, and they've been a very good partner for many years. So Ms. Roderick is going to speak, and then we've got quite a smaller group. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat, or you can simply raise your hand or use the reaction hand, and we'll make sure that we get to you. Ms. Carla Roderick is the Regional Director of External Relations at Comcast, where she manages governmental affairs, regulatory matters, and community investment in the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast regions of Florida. In her role, she formulates public policy, steers regulatory and legislative issues through consensus building of multiple stakeholders across industry and government. She has extensive experience in media relations as chief spokesperson in numerous high-profile crisis incidents for global transportation and energy companies. She is a subject matter expert on social media platforms to engage stakeholders and strengthen corporate brand. Ms. Roderick got her start in communications as a U.S. Air Force public affairs professional. She served active duty for 7 years in the U.S. and overseas. When not working, she and her husband, Danny, are usually out on the water boating, jet skiing, or fishing. And I will say, Miss Roderick, I've grown to know her, and she's quite active in the community. And of course, I always enjoy anyone that served in the military. So go veterans. So I'm going to turn it over, being married to a 20-year Air Force veteran myself. So I'm going to turn it over to Carla. Miss Roderick, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm impressed with my own self now. I have to live up to that. Well, thank you all very much today for letting Comcast come and participate. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a few key items that we have and are happy to share with the Black Chamber, and hopefully some of your members, friends, connections will be interested in some of the programs that I'll share with you today. I'm going to talk about the Comcast RISE program. That's a pretty new one. So unfortunately, I'll be reading a little bit from my documents because I'm not as familiar. It kind of just launched. The IE Internet Essentials Lift Zones. That's another new program, but I'm much more familiar, so I can kind of talk off the cuff on that. And the Internet Essentials Partnership program that we have. And I'm basically, I know that the Black Chamber has, and many of our community partners are really familiar with Internet Essentials. And that's a program that we have to provide affordable internet, high-speed internet to low-income families. And that's what we've kind of built. We've had that in place, I think, for over 10 years. But these other programs, the Comcast RISE, the Lift Zones, and the partnerships that I'm going to talk about, they're building on that platform to, as the presentation's titled, Bridging That Digital Divide, okay? So again, apologize for this program is so new, but I did want to share it with you. It's called Comcast RISE. And this was launched this year, late in the fall. And I'm going to send you all the documents that go with this, so you'll have the details. And for those small businesses that might be interested in applying for this grant program, you'll have all the information that you need, okay? So again, we just launched it this fall. It's a multi-year commitment from Comcast to provide grants, media, and technology resources to generally people and organizations of color, okay? Those that have been negatively impacted by COVID-19, by social unrest, and by environmental events. RISE itself stands for Representation, Investment, Strength, and Empowerment. So Comcast RISE. And we launched that in October. We opened it up for folks to apply for grants, meeting that very broad criteria. And we had a huge group of interest. And in Florida, we had 37 small businesses that applied and were approved in Florida, and 700 overall. So these Black-owned, mostly small businesses are going to receive consulting, media, creative production services from our advertising end of Comcast, and or technology upgrades from Comcast on whatever they've kind of identified their specific needs as being. But it's not over. That was like phase one of the program. So here in Palm Beach area, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Scarlet Beverage Company. That was one organization that qualified and received the grant from Comcast. And the second that I know of is the iMatter Adult Daycare Center. So the Scarlet Beverage Company, they're going to receive creative production services from us. And the Senior Citizen Center will receive a technology makeover. And what I take from that, it's probably upgraded services, Wi-Fi services, just making it probably easier for those seniors to connect. Because, and I know from personal experience, you know, my mother who's in a nursing home has been basically a hostage since March. And so those Wi-Fi connections and technology connections are really important to staying connected with those with the elderly population that's still not allowed to leave, right, in many cases. So that's sort of, I'm sharing that with you because it's a good invitation for those businesses impacted by COVID, social unrest, environmental events, and I know that's very broad, but there's a round 2 coming. And so in the early part of next year, applications will open up for these financial grants. And I failed to mention that they are $10,000 grants. So they receive a $10,000 grant or a value to upgrade in those areas that I spoke of, because Comcast has the ability to do PSA commercials, which we've done for Black Chamber in the past. We, do grants. We try to mix it up. We have a unique portfolio that we can offer to our community partners, whereas we might not be giving funding, but we might give a PSA commercial opportunity for the organization. So we try to mix that up a little bit. So as I said, in the beginning of next year, there'll be another opportunity for round 2 to open up applications for those financial grants of up to $10,000 each. And that website to apply, and I don't know exactly when it'll update, but it's something that you could just, periodically check. I'll try to share that with you, Keely, so you can share with the membership, because I'm sure that we'll do a press release on it, but it's www.comcastrise.com. comcastrise.com, and it's got all the information about the grant, the requirements, probably a little more information about what that those terms mean as far as being negatively impacted by COVID, social unrest, environmental. So I think it'll give a little more description to those areas. But that is all part of a larger $100 million diversity, equality, and inclusion initiative that Comcast has launched over the summer. So that's one piece of the puzzle to hope bridge that digital divide and certainly, help those small businesses that have been impacted during these, for lack of a better term, these crazy times that we're in right now, right? So if anyone has any questions, I'll take questions, but have no fear. I'm going to share the details with Keely and she's going to share it out with the group. So you'll have that at your fingertips sometime later today. If there's no question on that Comcast RISE program, I'll move over to the lift zones, okay? Lift zones, this is cool. You might have actually seen the commercials that have been playing periodically to talk about, knowing that we have these challenging times with schools primarily, starting virtual, going in school. Some school systems are still doing part-time here and there. I know Palm Beach is back in school, but with the changing environment of COVID, who knows if we're going to have another dip or another peak or what's going to happen. So we all know, especially those of us who have friends and family that have children in school, we just kind of have to be nimble about it. And in order to try to help with that, we are establishing lift zones. And what that means is basically a multi-year effort to roll out more than 1,000 Wi-Fi connected zones in community centers in partnership with Comcast. So this initiative will provide free Wi-Fi connectivity in community safe spaces, as well as access to hundreds of hours of educational and digital skills content provided at no cost for helping with online learning. So it's kind of targeting kids. If you can just imagine, some of the before and after school programs that were open during COVID or closed during COVID. And it's just been a challenge to ensure that the children in school have that access that they need. So they might not have it at home. And, we hope that everybody takes advantage of Internet Essentials, but maybe they don't have that access at home, but maybe they participate in a community center. And we could light up one of these centers and provide free Wi-Fi to all the kids that attend, and parents and teachers and alike that are at these community centers. So basically, we're targeting, the low income folks to help, again, another layer of that educational help and support to bridge that digital divide gap. So that will provide them a clean space to participate, safe, clean space to participate in distance learning, like if they have homework before or after. And I'll stop talking from my notes unless there's anything I'm looking at there that's specific. I think I identified it correctly. And I'll just let you know, so I've been working to identify locations in Palm Beach County. I cover Palm Beach and Treasure Coast. And in Palm Beach County, I've been reaching out to some of my partners to say, hey, where are those areas that kids are going before or after school, or just safe zones, community centers that might be a potential lift zone in our communities. And of course, the way Comcast kind of operates is when we roll out a new program like this, typically always it goes to the larger communities first. So it would hit, like, I'm just talking about Florida, this is nationwide, but Miami, then they might go to Fort Lauderdale, then they might go to West Palm. That's kind of the way it flows. So I've been working to identify these community center zones. And because I was quick to respond and get some of these locations on the list, we've already been approved for several of them. And I hope that they will be, we haven't announced it yet, so don't tell anybody. But we hope to be able to announce this by the end of the year. And just a few of the ones that I'm working with, they haven't been totally approved yet, but the Salvation Army Community Center, the Northwest Salvation Army Community Center, they get hundreds of kids in there during the week for before and after school programs. And I know some of the numbers have been impacted just because of COVID, and people are a little more cautious about letting kids go here and there. But Salvation Army, the Guatemalan Maya Center, the Hispanic Resources Council, Compass, Gay and Lesbian Community Center, the Police Athletic League, looking at the city of Pahokee for some opportunities. And then I had a few last minute ads that I just added that are being evaluated too. The Riviera Beach Youth Empowerment Center, the Dan Calloway Tate Recreation Center, the Richard and Annie Brooks Community Center, the Lindsay Davis Senior Community Center. Those are all areas that I've identified as great spots where kids go and hang out. And if they had Wi-Fi, not to say they won't do other things, but hopefully it'll give them a little bit of edge, maybe to work on some of their homework and have that access that they need in a safe area that's already established and in some areas that we know they need a little bit of help. So that's the lift zone. And I hope to have a few of those lit up with super high power Wi-Fi. Like I said, some new technology, some opportunity to expand. You know, many of them might have Wi-Fi, but they don't have the high speed that kids can do their homework, because kids today, they've got to log on, look stuff up, and it's just not a matter of getting online. They've got to look at videos, they've got to do other things. So we hope that those installs will possibly happen by the end of the year, certainly by the first of the year. So very much looking forward to that. And so if you have, I'd appreciate it if anybody has anything that I missed, any areas to consider. If y'all are at all familiar with the Treasure Coast areas as well, I'd be happy if you want to float ideas to me, please do. Because the focus is really bridging where that need is to bridge that digital divide. If no one has any questions on that one, I'll move ahead and talk about our partnership program. And this one is really interesting because when the start of COVID happened, you know, we've had Internet Essentials, like I said, in open and available to low income families for over 10 years. And we've connected millions of people into this. And basically it provides high speed internet access for low income families. And what do I mean by low income families? I'll give you a few examples. Anyone who's really on any kind of support, Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. If they're living in housing, that's an automatic approval. If they are a member of a Title I school, if they have any of the children in their household at a Title I school, if they qualify for free or reduced school lunch, also a qualifier. And what that has opened up for them is high speed, and they have to be a Comcast in our service territory because we can't run it out to places where we don't have service. But if they're a Comcast customer or eligible to be a customer and they don't already have service with us. So that's kind of the basis for if a family qualifies for Internet Essentials. But during COVID, we had a lot of nonprofit organizations that said, hey, Internet Essentials is a great program, but we still have families out there that might not be able to afford it, or they're not working. And how can we partner with Comcast and help sponsor some of these children or some of these families and pay for this service for them? Because it's I believe $9.95 a month, which is very low cost. But you know, maybe during this time, one of the family members' parent is not working, and it's just a struggle. We know it's a struggle for many, many folks during this. So we came up with the idea of partnering with businesses, nonprofits, school districts that would sponsor X amount of families to provide Internet Essentials to their home. And it was tricky during COVID because we weren't doing in-home installs. So what we did was we partnered, and I'll give a specific example, the Palm Beach County School District. They have partnered with us to sponsor thousands of families to ensure that they have internet at home, high-speed internet at home. Ideally, well, I would just say it was targeted during the time that we were doing virtual school, and now we're not, which is fine because with the pandemic, who knows if you're going to have a peak and kids are going to go home, or someone might get sick, or parents might still choose to do the virtual learning. So anyone who qualifies, as I said, those Title I school and on any kind of assistance program. If they're in the area that we can actually serve them, if they reach out to the school district and ask to be part of the partnership program, the Internet Essentials Partnership Program, there is a place for them to be sponsored by the school and Comcast to get this service for free at no cost for up to 12 months. Now, we had a lot of folks that were a little hesitant to partner or call in or try to get this service because they weren't sure, is it really free? Yes, it is really free. There might be a small little bit of tax or whatever that requirement is, but the school district is covering that $9.95 a month to cover those kids and families and homes that can partake in this experience. Now, we did have a lot of folks that said, well, I kind of owe Comcast a lot of money and I'm scared to call because I owe them all this money. And amazingly, I mean, I was floored by this one. Comcast has waived any back due, okay? Any money's due. If they call us, work it out, we'll work it out through December 31st. They're just forgiving that back due. So that was amazing to me. Some folks who are, let's just say they're not fully secure in their citizenship yet, they're maybe in process or whatever, they were a little concerned about signing up for something because they might not have a credit card. They might not have the kind of ID that you need to participate in this program. No worries there either. If they have a cell phone number, which most people do, or some sort of phone number, we can typically work that out. As far as identifying the individual, if they have a school ID of the student or a Medicaid card or any of those types of things, we can make it happen. So we just want to make sure that they give the school a call, let them know that they're interested in that program, and we can, 9 times out of 10, we can make it happen. We also have a phone center when they do call to make the connection and get into the process. We have multilingual folks that work our phones and are very, understanding of the situation of a language barrier. So that all can be taken as well. So again, we're partnering with the Palm Beach County School District. So anyone who has any student that is a student at any Palm Beach County school, if they meet those requirements of being low income or Title I school, free or reduced lunch, any member of the household falls into any of those categories, they could very well qualify. So they need to reach out to the school district, let them know they're interested, and they could get that free covered high-speed internet Wi-Fi in their home. The way we're doing it now is, let's say they get through the process, the box will be shipped to them. They can call in the hotline number. They'll walk them through the setup, which is pretty easy to do. Again, we have the multilingual folks in place that can handle questions or technical questions to make that happen. And right now, if there is a need for someone to come out, in those cases, they will come out, but most cases they can come on the outside of the home and do it from the outside and make sure the connection's right. And there's no charge for that either. The equipment is at no cost. So it's a great program. These programs that I just mentioned, the Comcast RISE, the Lift Zones, and the Internet Essentials Partnership Program are all part of our hope and goal of, minimizing that digital divide that we know is still out there. And, the wonderful thing about having that internet at home, if the families don't, we all know now that it's more than just school. It's, to get a job anymore these days, it's not a matter of walking into the diner and saying, hey, I saw you had an opening for a waitress. They're going to say, apply online, right? It's just not that easy anymore for almost every type of role that you might imagine. There's some piece of it that's going to require something online. So we hope these programs will bring that and help, rise up our community in Palm Beach. And that's what I wanted to share with the group today. So a lot of opportunities. If you know someone who has kids at school that would be interested in this program, share that. I'm going to share the information with Keely that she will distribute the information out. And I know we have a hand raised on just recapping a little bit, but on each of these programs. You know, we'd love for you to share this information with your friends, community members, and small businesses.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
Carla, we have a couple of questions in the
Great.
chat. And it looks like Heidi is asking, and this may be up under the actual Comcast RISE lift zone that you were mentioning. The
Correct.
question was, what age group?
For the community center on the lift zone, really we're open to all school age community organizations, if I've captured your question correctly. So, you know, I try to identify the locations that I felt didn't get a lot of big funding from other big corporations. So we will try to roll it out to other organizations, but I was looking for that more local community center, like those places that I mentioned in Riviera. You know, they probably are not, I'm guessing, they're not organizations that are going to get big funding from big Walmart or any of those. So I was trying to approach it from that small community, local, but any age group, really just looking for that school age range. If you noticed, I said those community centers, which I believe are probably more teen focused, but the Hispanic Human Resources Center, that's for pre-K, right? So it's those little kids that are just learning to read, and for the teachers that work there and their siblings that are probably older, right? So any age range, even through college age as well. But for the most part, we know that those folks may have that access. And we do offer some good IE programming for college and teachers as well. It's all of this information can be found on Comcast.com. And certainly as far as the RISE, that small business loan opportunity that a new level will roll out at the first of the year, ComcastRISE.com.
Okay, and I dropped that link also in the chat.
Oh, great.
For
Thank
everybody
you.
to grab as well. Looks like we have Glenn Benjamin. He'd like to ask you a question, Carla.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, I'd like to ask you 100 questions. We don't have time today. Just my background, and this will make sense. I work for an IT provider, Land Infotech, managed services, IT consulting. We help nonprofits. We have a ton of nonprofit accounts. We help them find grant funding. That's part of the where I'm going to go with this. The other part is I'm also an academic advisor on 2 nonprofit schools. I know they're E-rate eligible, so that kind of lines perfectly with what you're saying. And then my night job is I'm a board member of Tech Lauderdale. I need to help you get this message out to everybody that we deal with. So how about you and I just connect offline? I don't want to hijack this call.
Yeah, that's great. That would be great. And I will say I have a peer that's also down in Broward.
Okay.
That's working on this well. I don't know if you know Dawn Stagliano, my colleague. She's pretty active, but anyway, this same information is relevant for all parts of Florida, and let's certainly connect after the call. I appreciate it. And I think you actually need to take some time off because you have too many balls being juggled in the air there.
Absolutely, yeah. And I got my jug of coffee right here. I'm working
there
on
you
it.
go.
So,
there you go.
So, but no, I would definitely connect. If you can throw your email into the chat, that would be great.
Sure. And I think Broward also has that same partnership going with the school district there, or they were evaluating. I'm not 100%. I kind of stay in my own lane, but I think they were evaluating that as well.
One of the schools I'm an advisor for is in Dade. So
in
just
Dade, we're
help
down
me
there
connect.
too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Perfect. Thanks, Carla.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're good as far as any other questions. Actually, Pamela has a question for you.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Carla. Well, first I have to say it's wonderful to meet you, and it's great to hear about all the fantastic things that Comcast is involved in. And I have a ton of questions as well. So I already hooked up with you on LinkedIn. I just sent you a LinkedIn.
Oh, great. Awesome. I'll connect.
Yeah, but my immediate question is the Comcast RISE grant that you mentioned. I do, by way of background, I do a lot of training, corporate training, and I also do a ton of entrepreneurship training. And right now I will be engaged, and I've been given permission to share this by the Urban League to start up again some one-on-one coaching and training sessions with local entrepreneurs, small business owners. And so I'm very interested in that particular information because I like to share information with the folks I train.
I love it. I love it.
So quick question, and then we can follow up later,
Sure.
one-on-one. Is there a specific requirement about the length of time that a small business has to be in business to qualify for the grant? Or could you give us a little bit more about that?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll be honest. It's very, very new to me, so I'm unsure of that. I think that I would think that there may be some requirement. I'll just say that when we do our typical grants, there are some questions that we ask in the way, just making sure the organization that we're trying to support is solid, right, in itself. But the whole idea of entrepreneurship is the starting of new business, right, a new opportunity. Right. So I don't know the answer to your specific question. It's a good one. I'll try to dig a little more into that for you when we connect. But I will say that when in doubt, apply. Because these organizations, sometimes we have these grants that are sitting out there, and as you know, in your business and your love of philanthropy and other things, sometimes they sit out there and no one even applies. And so go for it, go after it. We love that entrepreneurial spirit. That's a big part of our commitment. Not only are we focused on people of color, but women, veterans, entrepreneurials, trying to get folks into the workforce. And we very greedy, being a greedy company, we want them to come work for us too. So we really like to open up those job opportunities for local communities. I'll look into that for you. Like I said, it's a pretty new program. It might go through that on RISE, but I'm sure that we can find some way to connect with the organizations that you're talking of. I work really closely with Urban League, and Marie Sanchez is one of my best buds. So I'm sure we can find something that'll work for those organizations that you're working with.
Fantastic. She's also my boss and my bud too on this project.
Yeah.
So
okay, great.
All right, I guess
well, you've already got it in. You've already got it in.
And to everyone on this call, if you know any small business or entrepreneur who might need specific one-on-one coaching, either starting their business or growing their business, please reach out to me, because this is it's a fabulous opportunity for anyone else.
Okay, great. Will do.
Okay.
I see Joe, it was in there for a moment. I don't know if he had a question. He was probably just trying to take some of the spotlight off of Marie.
Hey, the tree looks great, by the way, Carla.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Good.
Good.
You had a question, Joe?
I missed part of it because I was trying to grab some lunch for my next meeting. I think all these programs are great. I mean, I heard part about the grants for these small businesses, and with being with the chamber for I think I've been with the chamber about 6-7 years now. So there are definitely a lot of small businesses that can use that program, and so we just need to make sure we connect the dots and get those folks get that access to them. So.
I agree, Joe, and I'll send you the documents, or Kelia will share it out as well. And I know you're a part of the Palm Beach School District Board Diversity Organization. I don't know your specific name, but that's really key information that I feel hasn't gotten the legs under it. And I know we're kind of under a crunch because that partnership runs through December for a year's worth of coverage. So in all three of these programs that I talked about, whether it be RISE for the small business, the lift zones for those community centers, or that IE partnership that's going on in the school district, I think the key to it is sharing and trying to get the word out on those items. So I'll get that info to Keely so you guys can share with your friends and community partners.
And I think I heard RISE is also available to nonprofits too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, I don't see any more questions. Keely?
Well, thank you, Carla, for that.
You're welcome.
That's 3 very good programs that we'll be sure and pass along in our newsletter and get that information to those people that can use it, because you're exactly right. We come across a lot of good programming and opportunities, and you have to take advantage of it to know what it can do.
And if you don't get the grant the first time, try again, right? So it's going to be something that's going over many years. I'm sure it'll evolve and change with the needs of the community. So I always say, put your name in the hat and go for it and
Mhm.
keep trying, right? So, but it looks like our area has been pretty successful at getting a piece of some of these grants. So I think it's optimistic outlook for our community here.
Well, that's awesome. Awesome. So any last opportunity to ask questions before we close out for today?
I'll just throw it out since there's no questions. If, I do run the community impact, community participation. If y'all come up with something interesting that's going on, something that you think Comcast might be a great partner or be involved in, let me know. I'm sure Keely's going to include my info on there. Reach out, let me know what's going on. These are crazy times and things are mostly virtual now, but just keep Comcast in mind to be a partner on some of these great things, especially in the way of education, people of color, women, veterans. I'm generically saying sort of our focus areas, but those are them. So if something comes to mind, keep us in mind.
Okay, awesome. Yes, we will definitely get this information out. We'll include it in next week's newsletter.
Right.
And for those of you that are not signed up for a newsletter, that comes out every Tuesday. We encourage you to go to the site or put your information in the chat and we'll capture that.
Okay.
That being said, I want to thank Carla Roderick, our community or corporate partner with Comcast. As I said earlier, Comcast has been a great partner with the Chamber. They believe in our mission. And as you can see, these are some great opportunities for our members. I see, Ruth, did you have a question or did you have a question?
No question
No.
for me.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Before I turn it over to Frank Hayden, our current chair of the board of directors, I want to invite you to join us next Wednesday, December 10th, when we'll have Clive Henry, certified public accountant, talk to our business members about tax planning. We're coming up on the end of the year and that season is upon us. So that will be next Wednesday at 12 p.m. So Frank, I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out. Frank, you're on mute.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That you should have heard the first part. That was a heck of a speech I just gave. But what I was saying was, Keely, thank you so much for all you do for the chamber, and to our special guests, thank you very much. And it's truly a pleasure seeing you again. As I told you when we were together before, your last name is the name of my very good friend. But now I've discovered you were in the Air Force.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I was in the Air Force as well. So we just got all
connected. See?
There you go. Very good.
The superior force. We can all agree to that.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely. Listen, thank you for this information that you shared with us today. Joe Sanchez, as always, opened up the door when he said nonprofits are available for this, that we can share with our members to be able to assist them with the programs you offer. But you all at Comcast have been an excellent partner with us. With Black Chamber. Let me ask one last question before I finish up. When you mention rec centers, do you do anything with the city of West Palm Beach? Rec centers that have children that come there after school and so forth?
You'd have to ask me or tell me which one, and I'd love some suggestions. I think I focused on Riviera. I certainly have the West Palm Beach Police Athletic League. They have a lot of kids that come there as well.
Yeah.
And so they're on the list. But
Gaines Park.
Games. No, but I'm going to take a note of that, okay?
Okay, very good, very good. But now that I've done my other job, that is with the city, once again, thank you so very much for this information. It is always you all share some positive things for us. And so I'm just happy that we are a partner in this together. And thank you for being a part. And for those who are on this Zoom, if you're not a member of the Black Chamber, this is a reason why you should be a member of the Black Chamber, because we're providing information to our members and opportunity for our members as well. So thank you all who participated. Keely, thank you. My good friend from Comcast, thank you as well. And Tracy, I turn it over to you.
All righty. So again, you guys, anybody that's interested in membership, you can contact us. You can go to the website. You can find the benefits as well as filling out the membership application form there. Or if you have any questions, you can email us directly at info@blackchamberpbc.com. So, Keely.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. We hope to see you back next Wednesday, December 9th, 12 noon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy holidays if I don't speak to you soon.
Yes, happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.